Following on from my video few days ago regarding unconscious bias, I decided to dig deeper into this bias and to find out other kinds of bias that exists, especially in the workplace, because what actually triggered this me looking into unconscious bias is what somebody shared with me that was happening in her workplace that meant that her mental health has been affected. So I now looked more into this bias and other kinds of bias. So today I'm going to share about 8 types of bias, and also I will just talk about them quickly and how they can be avoided, especially in the workplace. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Effective Health and Wellness. Today we are looking at about 8 to 10 types of bias that is commonly happening, that we don't even sometimes know that they're happening, and then how to avoid them. Number 1, affinity bias. It is also known as similarity bias. It is the tendency where people have to connect with others who share similar interests, experience, and background. Sometimes you don't even know that it's happening, but it does. This can be avoided by actively taking note of the similarities you share with a candidate or with somebody in the workplace, so that you can differentiate between attributes that cloud your judgment and the concrete skills. Very important. Number 2, ageism. Ageism in the workplace is the tendency to have negative feelings about another person based on their age. Ageism affects older people more often than younger people. And about 2/3 of workers, aged 50 and over, sometimes have that belief that there's ageism, there's some discrimination in their workplace because of their age. Although some employers will tell you that, oh, the older workers perform better, they hardly go off sick compared to the younger ones. But all in all, ageism does occur in the workplace. And to avoid this, you just have to train your team members to understand the issue of ageism, that it is unacceptable and everybody should be accepted, unless that older person is not performing as they should. Then you can find a way of addressing it. But just making it very clear to the person that, oh, you're behaving the way you're behaving because of their age is not acceptable. Number 3, authority bias. Authority bias refers to when an idea or opinion is given more attention or thought to be more accurate because it was provided by an authority figure. You think that this person, you don't even question what they do or say because you think that they're higher authority, you better not say anything. Existing hierarchies make it incredibly easy to simply follow the leader, even if the leader idea aren't always the best for the company or for that establishment. This can be avoided by the authority or the establishment making it very clear to everyone that their opinion matters. It's not just about the authority, because somebody in the authority may not know everything. Somebody who is in a lower grade might be able to contribute, have something to contribute. So that should always be recognized. Another thing is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the inclination to draw conclusions about a situation or person based on your personal desires, beliefs, and prejudices, rather than on unbiased merit. When you are hiring somebody or when you are in the workplace, you have to avoid confirmation bias. How do you avoid it? While every interview will lend itself to a unique conversation based on the individual's background. It's always important to ask standardized, skill-based questions that provide each candidate with a fair chance to stand out. Don't structure the question towards one particular group of people and make it hard for others to fit in. Gender bias. Gender bias is the tendency to prefer one gender over another. Too often, men are given preferential treatment over women in the workplace. So, some researchers have suggested, although there are certain jobs that are gender specific, but not a lot these days. Most jobs now are not gender specific, but there may be still very few which are. If that is the case, then you can't really argue about that one. Gender bias should be avoided by all means. If it's a job that can be done by any gender, have to try and avoid that as much as possible so that everybody will have a fair chance. The next one is height bias. When somebody is too tall or too short, they are discriminated against in certain jobs. Although there are some jobs that you really have to attain certain height to be in that job. For example, being a police officer in this UK anyway, I'm sure it's the same in most other places. You have to have be at certain height to be an officer, and I'm sure maybe other professions, similar professions. But apart from that, height should not be a big thing. It should not make people who are very short or very tall to feel that it's not their fault that they are too short or too tall. So make it very fair, unless it's definitely a criteria for that particular job. And in that case, the candidate will know already that this kind of job I will not apply because there's a particular height that you have to attain to be able to apply for such roles. The next one is name bias. Name bias is the tendency people have to judge and prefer people with certain types of names, typically names that are of Anglo origin. This is one of the most pervasive examples of unconscious bias in the recruitment process. And the number of recruiters show that this is what is happening. Some people with so difficult names, sometimes people even try to change their names, make it cut it down or change it to something else just for them to fit in. That should not be happening. We should be proud of our names. But unfortunately, this is happening, and this can be avoided by maybe identifying people with a number or without putting the names. I don't know, but I don't know how that can be avoided, but just for us to take note that this is happening in the workplace. Even at interview, some people just seeing your name, they won't even invite the person for an interview, and that is not good at all. The next one, which I think is number 8, is overconfidence bias. The overconfidence bias refers to a person's tendency to be more confident in their capabilities than they should be. They're so overconfident. By the time you ask them a question, they've answered, they're so overconfident. You don't want to be like that all the time. It may not lead to the kinds of hiring and recruitment issues other biases cause, but it can create conflict within an organization and cause the company to not live up to their potential. So you have to be very careful. Don't be overconfident. Even if you know it all, just be calm. And how to avoid overconfidence bias. One way to avoid it is to continue your work when we talked about affinity bias before. Continue your work on affinity bias and hire a diverse team that doesn't fall into one particular group, so that you can have different people within the workplace. I think I've talked about 8. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. We'll have to stop here. I'm sure you've gotten something from these types of biases and how they can be avoided in the workplace. Let this type of story that this woman shared with me and how it has affected her mental health not keep happening. Let us be very conscious of unconscious bias in the workplace, because we are all in it together. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye and God bless.